for today's cup of coffee with Scream. We have
Screaming.
the best pirates on board this tiny pirate ship.
Thank you all for the kind words. Y'all are so sweet.
They're quality human beings. And let me tell you something. I would rather have the quality human beings than be one of these people that has millions and that they can't interact with them individually and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So being a micro mini has a lot of advantages.
It does.
But
it's building friendships.
Yeah, actual friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it was such a, I don't know that you never anticipate something like that. And it was, the weirdness was, I had stepped outside to smoke and I saw something it was there near the edge of the road, near the mailbox, and it was luminous. That's the only word that I could figure out. And it's like I'm nearsighted. And while I'm in the house, I don't have to have my glasses. And so I don't usually wear them unless I'm driving. And so I hollered at Kid and I'm like, hey, come here. And it's like, I can't see that far. What is this? I said, it's glowing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a very strange thing.
It's like I saw that it was House Lane there, and it's like,
and someone had hit him.
I yell for him. I call for him, say his name, and he doesn't get up, and
he walked down to the road. God love him, and he's had to walk down to the road.
One of my babies is gone.
Yeah. And Kid is a Pisces with Leo rising. And he has a moon in Libra. And I told him, it's like, this is the thing with Pisces. And these people feel things very deeply. And Pisces is a very misunderstood sign, I think, in a lot of ways. And they remind us that no matter how hard the world becomes, to not lose childlike hope. And that it's okay to have that. Now the Pisces, that they get into a problem, sometimes there's a blurring of the edges between childlike and childish.
Yeah, that's the difficulty. That's a war within ourselves, and
yeah.
When you're fighting that war, it's like, Lord, I'm doing these things. I don't understand why the fuck I'm doing this, and it's like I was too fucking self-absorbed with all the other shit to properly take care of him.
No, and it's like, this was not, and for some reason he wants to blame himself. And this has always been my philosophy. It's like animals, when they are trapped in a home, that bothers me. And even before I was a corrections officer, to see something trapped bothered me. I have, as far as like birds in a cage for somebody's amusement or whatever, and if you're a bird owner, this is not directed towards you, but there's something within my spirit that is just like, no, that bird needs to be able to fly.
Mm-hmm.
And because that we're not right on the road, but the road is there, and the cats do go across the road, and it's a miracle of God that others have not met their demise.
Yeah, that's the thing. It would be expected if Pancreas...
Yeah.
Because...
She kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Reckless, yeah.
Reckless is the word. She just bolts in front of the cars. And some of the others just stand there.
Yeah. And we don't know, I mean, as far as animals and stuff like that, but there is the question of why that one. And there are certain ones that you're closer to than others. But going back before I get totally distracted, to keep him in the house to keep any of them. Well, first of all, there's no way that anybody should or could be living with 13 cats in a home.
No,
we don't have a huge home.
Yeah, now I can see if they have like a rescue thing.
Usually those people have a whole separate building and different, they have a full facility to do some of those, what they do. Mm-hmm. We do not.
No.
But it just, to let the animals do what they want to do, which includes roam. Cats roam.
Yeah.
And we do have tragedies, and it's like we have had kitties for a very long time. And we've lost, they come and they go, and sometimes we'll see them and they never come back, and we never know.
I'm able to accept that more. Sometimes it's a lot easier
to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as solidified as when you had to go out and dig a grave. And God bless Omega, because he came up here, and this man had some kind of procedure on his spine a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, back surgery.
And here I am fussing, going, do not be digging. We did not call you to dig. We called you for moral support.
Yeah, I'm telling him that too, and it's like, this ain't, literally, dude, just moral support.
Because it was dark, and it was raining, and it is amazing how hard clay ground can be, because it was like hitting a rock. Well, it sounded, the shovel, it sounded like it was hitting rocks.
Well, we were hitting rocks at some point.
Yeah. And to go and get a mattock, and that helped. And at a certain point, because I had already taken insulin, and I had to come in the house and do what I needed to do. And it's just, we have our own little pet cemetery in the backyard.
We do.
And at some point, what I want to do is be put back there myself, because why would I not? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a lovely area back there.
It is.
And to have these little things that they also go back to the earth. They become part of these mountains. And it's like we grieve, but it's like I was explaining to Kid, some people become very emotionally distant and detached because that they have loved something and have lost it through death or whatever. And rather than go through that again, they don't have pets or they remain distant. And it's like, okay, you're ensuring that you're not going to go through that particular pain again, but you're also denying yourself the blessing that getting to spend time with a loving pet. And House was a beautiful kitty, and he was a good kitty. But his mama, it's like, I was explaining this to Anthony Chihuahua today, his mama, not Anthony's mama, but House's mama, it must have been a litter mate of hers, was dropped years ago on us.
Yes.
And the litter mate was a little tuxedo kitty. Mm-hmm. And we were able to pet these kitties down because they were feral.
Yeah.
Bad. And the Goldenrod was the mama's name. And she had a wound on her chest, so we don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
But she was extremely skittish.
She was scared.
And she would not allow us to tame her to where we could get her to, be spayed. Mm-hmm. Now, Tuxedo, because that's one of the rules here, that they have to be spayed or neutered, because we don't want unwanted kitties. And so it was only after she had gotten pregnant and had a litter that she would let us do anything with her.
Yeah.
And so after she had healed up and nursed the babies for so long and stuff like that, she did get spayed. And she was one that was here for maybe a couple of years afterwards, and then just vanished.
Yeah. She vanished.
And we do have coyotes in this area.
Tuxedo vanished.
Yeah.
And you loved him.
Oh, I love Tuxedo. Mr. Sexy. He would go in there and lay on the bed, and he was like, yes, come hither.
Yes.
He was just, Tuxedo kitties are so amazing. But within the litter of House, there was him. House was short for house cat.
Yeah.
And because House was always one of my favorite shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as Algonquin, and then Jailbreak, that we called the football, the frog. She has
Daisy
many
Eyes.
names. And then there was the other one, the Toe Licker was her name.
Toe Licker, yeah.
And she was a hateful, hateful cat. Now, honestly, when that one vanished, we was okay.
Yeah. I sort of blocked her out of I think I blocked her out of my memory in some ways. I don't mean to, but...
Well, no, it just is. And so we were, to take in these 2 cats, which then became 6 cats, because that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And that we do the best for them that we can while they're here. Understanding everything is temporal. Everything is temporary.
We've gone through a lot of losses, though.
Yeah. But it's...
Butterbean had a thrombosis
Oh,
thing.
God, that was... Yeah. But, and this is not intending to be depressing cat death stories. But House, one of the things about him, his personality, because he did have that same skittishness. You could pet him and love on him, but not totally.
Yeah. And he would run. He
would
would get scared. He would, if you started walking near him, even if it wasn't directed to him,
right,
he would just bolt.
So some of these things can be passed down genetically. So if you've got a pet that's a spaz, then more than likely their offspring, they're going to have an element of that.
Yeah.
But, and it's just like after a period of time you could pet him, but as far as truly cuddle kitty type thing, he wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, no.
And he would still have a tendency every now and then to swat at you or try to nibble, which sometimes was not play nibble. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
But he had the softest fur. I used to call him Little Bunny Man. Because his fur, honestly, was like a rabbit's fur.
It was. It was the most beautiful coat on a cat.
Yeah, that orange and white. So he just... But for me to see what I saw, and it's like... I still don't know exactly what it was, but it was luminous. But thank you all for your support and prayers and love, and that means so much to us.
I'm assuming the luminous thing was it's just a pure soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was just beautiful inside and out.
Well, and this is the thing. I do believe that pets go on to an afterlife. I do. And Scripture tells us that God will give us the desires of our heart. He does not say that it will happen on this earth. And I would rather have it in the afterlife where there is no more pain, suffering, death, than to have it back here.
Yep.
That's just how I see it.
I agree with you.
So,
it's just like losing it. It's close to losing
it is a family member. It is a family member. They just are of a different species. They're cat peoples.
Yeah.
And in Native American tradition, which there's a lot of these things that came to us genetically. We will talk about the plant peoples or the cat peoples or whatever like that. They're different peoples. They're different species.
Just because we can't understand them doesn't mean they don't. Like, they can communicate with each other.
Sure.
Like you said, there's still people, it's just different species.
Yeah. And so it was a matter of just wanting to honor his memory with that little video. And I sat and I wept on and off all day because it was tears are a form of prayer. But to thank God for the years that we had with him.
They were a blessing. They were just a blessing.
Oh. A coffee slurping coming.
10 years.
I think at some point when they were first born, I had made a video, and I would have to go back in our archives way back and see if I could find that. I don't know. It may not. It's probably not going to happen in the next couple of days. I don't know. But what we wanted to talk about primarily, different types of peoples. There was a gentleman that I heard on Art Bell, and I will give you a link on for 2 YouTube videos that it's from Art Bell on Periscope. And this gentleman's name was David Jacobs. And David M. Jacobs, he's still around. He's 82. And he's on X. But he doesn't post that much. What he does usually, if he's on a broadcast or something, podcast, whatever the hell they're calling them today,
Podcast.
he will post that. And he has been in the UFO community for many, many years. And any of these people that they have endured such scorn and ridicule and vitriol in a lot of ways for a long time. And so when we're having these congressional hearings now, that stuff is giving some of these people some validation.
Yeah. It's like, vindication. Vindication. It's real. Screw you, motherfuckers.
But one of the main things that he talked about, and it did freak me out, and it's, like I said, I'll put the link in the description box, and you can, over the weekend, listen to these. He talked about something that was called a hybrid. That was his term for it.
A hybrid?
A hybrid.
Which is
not a hybrid, a hybrid. This was a species that was a combination of human and alien.
Sort of like the Nephilim.
Yeah. Very much sort of like the Nephilim.
That's fucked.
And so he has written a book, and I was looking to see when he had written this. I don't know. But it's called Walking Among Us.
Walking Among Us.
Yeah. And talking about as far as alien agenda of invasion and integration. And whether or not these beings have developed and perfected the technology, which includes genetic manipulation to where they could appear human but not quite.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
You know, there's some of those people, like that one dude that was in that one commercial with the multiple babies. He was holding the multiple babies. Mm-hmm. He looked alien.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been quite a few people that we've seen that it's like, what?
Yeah.
And it was just like our backdrop here, that is from System of a Down years ago. They have the song Aerials. And that kid, that alien-headed kid.
The what?
That alien-headed kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that self-disclosure then?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Don't
It was
know.
a good song. I'm not a huge System of a Down fan, but I did like that song.
It's a good song.
Yeah, and the video is, and then you've got Surge, whatever his name is, here on the sides of this. That's just what I found off a quick search. But, this takes me back to what I was told many years ago, long before I heard this Art Bell thing, long before I heard who Dr. Jacobs was, any of this stuff, that I was told that there were people, there were humans, but not quite, and that they were the bad guys. And then there were others that looked human, but not quite, and they were the good guys. And then there were the sheep in the middle that were blissfully unaware. Now, that was probably over 15 years ago that I was told that.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those, and I was taught you were designed for such a time as this. And I'm like, can you be any more cryptic? I need just spell it out, Podling.
You were designed for such a time as this. Thanks, Lord. Could you be any more cryptic? That's so comforting.
I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Still don't know. But as far as those who appear human but not quite, Could that have been talking about this stuff? Is part of this, with the Senate hearings and different things, and them talking about alien species, that was put in there. I heard some people going on about, oh, there was nothing really disclosed or anything. I'm like, you're not listening right. They're not, because people want, I don't know, they want, everything has been spoon-fed to them. Information is just spoon-fed, and they want the slick thumbnails, and they want the, whoever it is, to talk baby talk so that they don't have to use their brain, and they're missing so much.
Mm-hmm.
There actually was a lot of information that came out in that hearing.
I still have yet to listen to it.
And like I said, Lou Elizondo, I don't know whether to believe him or not. I know that Stephen Greer, which I don't know. When you've got somebody that's like, yes, I'm going to summon the aliens. And I'm thinking, dude.
Don't do that.
That alone, most people, that would knock him out of the ballpark. But he's another one that has been in the UFO community for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to the point, any of this stuff, it's all this cloak and dagger, and you don't know who to believe.
Exactly. And
That's
it's driving people
intentional.
crazy.
Absolutely, it's intentional. That's part of the psychological warfare. I've wondered before, as far as Art Bell, because he was former military,
If he was
he a matter of, what is it, controlled opposition?
Yeah, controlled opposition. It's a possibility that he was, but heck, we won't know now.
Right, but also self-disclosure.
Yeah.
Because his show was basically the first of its kind.
Yeah, it was.
Which was why it was so popular. It gave a voice to people that, like I said, had been discredited, discounted. People like Travis Walton.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that Art Bell had a lot of respect for Travis Walton because of what he went through.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
respect
respect for him.
That's trauma.
Yeah. And then the people that he worked with that were accused of, killing him and throwing him out on the mountain someplace, they went through trauma.
Mm-hmm.
But that man's bound to have some PTSD, not just from the abduction, but also how he was treated. And some of these people that call themselves journalists, I mean, honest to God, I don't see how they sleep at night. Because
they don't got souls.
I think so. With their poison pen, they can go out here and write some of this shit or accuse somebody of something. And it's been witch hunts for a very long time. All it takes is an accusation. No proof, no evidence, nothing like that. And the way that human brains work, if they go back and print a retraction, nobody remembers that. I mean, if somebody is vindicated, now I will tell you this, with social media, vindication is a hell of a lot easier than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be buried on page 12.
No, not anymore. It's there on the front page of X.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all pages, not all front pages are the same for people.
But as far as the white hats and stuff on X, when they get hold of something, they do. And even if they make a mistake, now that's one of the things about it. These people have to be diligent in making sure before they accuse somebody. Yeah. But could we possibly... I know that I have heard stories of abductees before, and a lot of times, especially, it's like what used to be called the old hag syndrome or whatever it was, as far as it was like a succubus.
Sleep paralysis, and it would climb on top of them and almost suffocate them.
I don't know that it's sleep paralysis. And that was one of the things that some of the critics of Dr. Jacobs was talking about, was that he used hypnosis on some of these things. And they're like, oh, well, he's not trained in it. It doesn't take a whole lot because he didn't have the right letters, that he's not allowed to use the same technique.
That's exactly what it is.
That's bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's always been bullshit. And his thing was how he came back at these people was saying some of these abductions occurred in broad daylight, and these people were very much aware. There was no way that it could have been sleep paralysis. But as far as them collecting eggs and sperm and different things like that, and that's been going on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There have been reports of people, of women that they were pregnant and then they weren't. They would go to the obstetrician and the baby was gone.
It's like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah. There's been other reports of some of these abductees. Some of them are abducted multiple times over their life. Sometimes it's generational, which is horrifying.
That is scary. Because, you know that we had UFO experiences when I was little.
Uh-huh. It's like, no, I rebuke and bind that in the name of Jesus. I really do. They even talked about that during the congressional hearing also.
What? About kids seeing?
No, about that they weren't able to say rebuking and binding and pleading the blood and calling on the name of Jesus, but they alluded to it. Mm-hmm. People, if they weren't listening closely, would have missed that.
Yeah.
I heard it. But there have been other abductees that have reported seeing these hybrid or hybrid creatures that they knew part of them was them.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Hubrids. They walk amongst us.
You know, sometimes, especially recently, it's like, I want to go to bed, wake up, this was just one bad dream.
Yeah. I've been like that for a long time. I truly have. When all the stuff blew up in my world in 2013, there were times that I would pray. It's like, please God, maybe that I've been in a coma and none of this has happened. That I'll come out of the coma and everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's no.
Wish it
and
was like that.
It can be brain breaking. But if you go ahead and ponder the possibility that these things truly are real, and from the reports that I've heard, these are not crazy people. None of this stuff. These people have had extraordinarily horrific experiences. They need to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of this stuff very much is getting disclosed. So,
as it should be. We should have known about these things a long time ago.
Well, in the congressional hearing, they basically said, yes, aliens exist.
Yeah. Yeah. They already knew.
What more did people want?
Exactly. They could have already said this, 20 years ago.
It wasn't time. It wasn't time. But it's like, I don't know what some people are wanting. Were they wanting somebody, an alien, to come out and just automatically wave at them and go, hi? I don't know what they expected from the congressional hearing. I really don't.
I guess, like, recent in-person encounters with one of those entities.
Well,
that's what they're wanting to hear.
The reason for, on some of this, the self-disclosure, would it have thrown many people into a state of panic? Absolutely. Absolutely. But for Lou Elizondo to sit there and go, we're dealing with technology that, as far as pulling thousands of G-forces, thousands, something that a human being cannot survive.
Mm-hmm.
They went into discussing interdimensional beings. Yeah.
demons. These are demons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
That was discussed.
You know, part of me, like, especially recently, this stuff is getting too real. I kind of want this tattoo removed now. I don't want to believe anymore.
Well, the thing is, I get that. He has a little, from the X-Files, he's got the little alien with the I want to believe.
And maybe it's wrong for me to say that, because it's like part of me is excited, but also it's like, because I know what I dreamed, and it's like, I don't want that in-person encounter.
But the thing is, with dreams, there a lot of times is a symbolism in them.
Okay.
And this is where people get lost down rabbit holes sometimes, and especially, and if you've got a piss poor guide, TikTok is filled with piss poor guides.
It really is. It really is. And it's really easy to tell which some of them it's obvious their shit's fake or whatever. They're just pulling shit out of their ass. But the others, it's really difficult to discern whether or not these people are real, or they're telling the truth or not.
Well, and it's like,
and if they're meaning it, they're telling people this in a way that is not trying to fearmonger or whatever else.
Right. And TikTok has, you can put videos of what length now on it?
10 minutes.
Okay.
I think you can even do 15. I don't know.
Now, the possibility of somebody explaining all this stuff in a 10 or 15 minute video is slim to none. Because these are things that people have spent lifetimes studying.
Mm-hmm. Also, nobody's going to go that in-depth on TikTok because flat out there's just not enough time. And people's attention spans are not that, are not that great. They can barely stand a 15-second video at normal speed. Yeah. They have to fast forward a 15-second video.
That's by design too. Because what is it doing? It's altering people's brains. It's altering their ability to pay attention. If you cannot go from short-term memory into long-term memory, you're not going to retain information. Mm-mm. The brain can only hold so much information. It is not designed to, as far as this, seconds and seconds and seconds. It overloads it. Mm-hmm. It used to be that people would take an idea and they would sit and think about it deeply. You had people that actually taught people how to think rationally, reasonably, and well.
Mm-hmm. And now it's slim to none on that. And
yes, but seek and you shall find.
Yeah.
There are still people that are out there teaching.
Mm-hmm.
But they ain't probably on TikTok. Now, if Jordan Peterson has a TikTok, somebody tell me.
I think he does.
Oh, God.
I'm going to have to go on there and check just to verify that. But
if he does,
I've seen his stuff on there. I know that.
If he does, that would probably be for look elsewhere for the in-depth discussion on this.
Probably.
I have watched hours of this man's teachings. That's just like Michael Heiser. Hours. I sleep to this man's lectures from time to time, hoping that it will get into my subconscious.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think so. There's different levels of consciousness.
Yeah.
But as far as, are we getting ready to, at some point in the near future, have the disclosure of Hubrids?
I think it's coming.
I think so.
It's like, Lord, the ones that are bad, just get rid of them, please.
Yeah, well, we're told at some point that will happen. Final thoughts, kid.
Damn, this is a rough time we're living through.
Yeah, we're recording this on, what is it? It's November the 15th, 2024.
Aliens,
it's the
man.
Last supermoon of 2024.
Aliens.
Full moon.
Hubrids.
Yeah.
Human hybrids. That's like the things with like in the Bible, how the sirens came to be.
Well, it's...
Which I didn't know that sirens were in the Bible, but they
You're
are.
going to have to show me the scripture on that because I don't remember that either. But some of these things people have glossed over for a very long period of time.
Well, maybe it wasn't in the Bible because I saw it. So it was this lady on TikTok that was reading part of it or said something about it from the Bible. That's all.
Okay. But as far as fallen angels, genetic manipulation, absolutely, it's all right there.
Yeah.
And that was the reason that people's like, well, God told them to go in and wipe out all these people. Yeah, because they had genetically altered the people that he told them to wipe out, including all the animals and stuff like that. And he, as far as tainting the gene pool of the things that God had created.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like you don't fuck with God's creation.
No. Are we seeing similar? We have been seeing similar since 2020 and even before then.
It's been going on for so long, we don't know.
Right. But he tells us over and over, do not be afraid. And so I choose to trust him. That is choice.
I mean, trusting, you can trust and still be scared.
Sure you can. Absolutely you can. Everybody's having paranormal and supernatural encounters. And possibly UFO and alien encounters. We may have... in Scripture it says, always be kind to strangers because you never know when you're entertaining angels unaware. Because they can take the form of humans.
Mm-hmm.
We honestly, my God, the arrogance of humanity sometimes, we don't even know enough to ask a question most of the time. We really don't, but we have got this incredible hubris to think that we have it all figured out.
We don't.
What an odd species we are.
It's like I was talking and telling God earlier. It's like, I don't know jack shit. We don't know jack shit.
Yeah, and that's where we trust for him to let us know what we need to know when we need to know it. Same thing with words. You want to tell them where we can be found?
Find us on BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube at Warlanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, Warlanda, COCWS. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good.
Know that you are loved. Treat other people the way that you would like to be treated. Make every day count.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does. Memento mori. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Yep, yep.
Bye.
Bye.